This isn't a small corner of the internet. This is tens of millions of people. And these people press play on this every single night. And every morning, they'll feel like something shifted. But this didn't start here. It started with something that probably most of us have tried. Something that seemed completely harmless and something that's probably still in your routine. Affirmations. Someone's voice telling you you're confident, you're capable, you're worthy, or even you trying to say these things to yourself as naturally as possible. And look, I'm not here trying to discount any of these things. I'm not trying to say they don't work. I believe repetition can actually change how you think. This could then alter your behavior and things in your life. But here's the question that nobody asks. My name is Shui. Do I need to wake up every morning and repeat, I'm Shui, to believe that I am Shui? No, right? That would be insane. I already know that's my name. So if affirmations are supposed to rewire your brain, when does the wire actually stay rewired? When do you stop needing the video? When does I am confident just become confidence? That's the part that nobody talks about. You don't outgrow affirmations. You get more dependent on them. And instead of asking why they're not working for me, you go around looking for better methods. Robotic affirmations, 369 method, scripting, mirror work. There's an entire industry of methods for saying positive things about yourself. If saying I'm confident works, why does it need 15 different techniques to say that? And let's just come back to robotic affirmations for a second. The whole point of affirmations is to build genuine belief. But your brain keeps resisting because you don't believe what you're saying. So what was the solution? Did anyone say, maybe explore why you don't believe it? No. The solution was to say it so fast that your brain can't disagree. Here's the part that should genuinely concern you. Sometimes the repetition also backfires because every time you say I'm confident and you don't feel it, you're not building belief at that point. You're just amplifying the distance between your words and your reality. You went in trying to feel more confident and you came out aware of how unconfident you still are. That's how this starts. But that feeling, the nightly hit of I'm working on myself, is so addictive. And once you're hooked on the feeling of progress without the pain of progress, you start wanting a stronger dose. And that's when you find these subliminals. If you've never heard of these, let me give you a quick context. A subliminal is basically an affirmation you cannot hear. They take statements like, I'm magnetic, my eyes are green, I'm 6 feet tall, and layer them underneath music or rain sounds or frequencies at a volume so low that your conscious mind can't pick up on it. The idea is that your subconscious absorbs these messages without your brain getting in the way and filtering them out. If you're thinking that sounds strange, but maybe there's something to it, I thought the same thing. Look at what people are actually using them for. Subliminals for smaller nose, subliminals for lighter skin, subliminal for changing your eye color, subliminals for growing taller, for making a specific person fall in love with you, for losing weight overnight. You name it, there's probably a subliminal for that. And here's the best part, right? These aren't just getting few hundred views. They are getting 5 million, 10 million, and even 15 million on these things. There is a subliminal for literally anything you could ever feel insecure about. Literally anything. If you feel powerless about it, there is a video with rain sounds promising to fix that for you while you sleep. But the thing is, it's not just insecurities. Take a look at this. This is a subliminal for changing your eye color. It has 5.4 million views. Who wakes up one day thinking that they need a different eye color? Nobody, until you see a video with millions of views suggesting that's actually possible, and suddenly a thing you'd never thought about before now becomes a thing you're curious about. And then curiosity turns into what if. And then what if becomes wanting. And now you have a new thing you didn't even want a few minutes ago. And that's what it is about this entire world, right? It shows you things that you didn't even know you wanted in the first place. But even that isn't the craziest part. The craziest part is what happens when this doesn't work. So let's say you find a subliminal. You listen for a week, nothing happens. Now in any normal situation, you'd probably think, okay, well, this didn't work. And you'd probably just move on. But here, you don't move on because the community has an answer for why it didn't work. The answer is you weren't doing it right. See, it's because you didn't listen to a booster first. A booster is a subliminal designed to make your other subliminals work better. So now your nightly routine isn't just one video. It's booster first to prime your subconscious and then your subliminal. And let's say nothing still happens. So now what? Well, then maybe the problem is you have blockages. Old subliminals from before that are conflicting with newer ones. So you need to clear them out. A flush is a subliminal that removes the effects of previous subliminals so the new ones can actually take hold. Now what happens to your nightly routine? You flush first to clear out the old stuff, then you put on a booster to prime your subconscious, and then you listen to the actual subliminal to install a new belief. And you do this every night for hours while you sleep. People have playlists, literally multi-hour playlists for this, stacked in a specific order. There are community guides on the right sequence, debates about which boosters work best, warnings about mixing certain subliminals because they might conflict. Do you see what happened here? It started with a simple idea. Repeat something positive and you'll start to believe it. But that didn't work fast enough. So someone said, what if you don't even need to hear it? What if your subconscious can already absorb it directly? Enter the world of subliminals. And when subliminals didn't work, someone said, you need a booster to make them work. And when that didn't work, someone said, you have blockages, so you need a flush. And when the flush didn't clear it, someone said, you are not being consistent enough. You need a longer and a better playlist. And when that didn't work, someone said, your mind is resisting. You just need to believe harder. At no point in this entire chain did anyone stop to ask, does the basic premise actually hold up? Instead of questioning the foundation, we're just building floors on top of this. This is an entire system designed to explain why the thing underneath all of this isn't producing results. And that's how it keeps you in. Every failed result becomes a reason for you to go deeper and not leave. This isn't self-improvement anymore. This is an entire belief system. It has a ritual. The nightly playlist in the correct order. It has testimony, the comment sections full of people sharing results. And most importantly, it has an explanation for everything, especially for failure that never blames the system. It's never, this doesn't work. It's always, you didn't do it right. You didn't do a booster. You didn't flush. You didn't believe harder. So the system is never wrong. Only you are. But the audio is only half of it. There's another layer that makes all of this bulletproof. And it's the first thing you see when you open any of these videos. The comments. Look at this. Someone lost 30 kilos. She changed her diet, changed her exercise, but read what she says. I of course changed my lifestyle, but I could never do it before listening to those subliminals. She did everything. But you see what's happening here? The subliminal takes the full credit. And that sounds harmless until you think about what this thing actually means to her. If the subliminal was the reason why she was able to do this, can she do it without the subliminal? Does she trust herself enough to keep going without the subliminal? The best success story in this entire world is still someone who doesn't believe that they did it themselves. And then there are these 3 minutes of audio and $1,200 appearing the next day. They just got the result overnight. Think about what that's actually training you to expect. When you scroll through hundreds of comments saying instant results and it worked overnight, you're essentially absorbing the idea that if it takes time and if it takes effort, that means you're doing something wrong. That's not how things work in the real world. Building a skill takes months. Saving money takes discipline. Nothing meaningful ever comes from quick hits of anything. And especially when you're in pursuit of these things, all of it, the entire process, can feel painfully slow. But the subliminal, it just trains you to expect results overnight. And by the way, the person who made that subliminal, they're making money from you pressing play on it every night. The The person selling you the shortcut to wealth is building their wealth of you believing in it. Think about that for a second. And then there are these ones that I cannot actually dismiss. Subliminals for healing. And I'm not going to tell you that this one is ruining your life. Sometimes you need something to hold on to, and this acts as the perfect medium for that. There's a difference between holding on to something while you face what's happening and holding on to something so you don't have to face it. Unfortunately, this entire subliminal world is never going to teach you that difference. And then these are the ones that genuinely bother me. Get your specific person back, get your ex back, make them obsess over you, and the comments is full of people celebrating that win. Just think about what's actually happening here. If you really wanted this person back, you could just reach out, have the conversation. Yes, it's terrifying. Yes, they might reject you, but at least you'd know. And you'd be trusting yourself enough to handle whatever comes your way. And what does listening to these subliminals teach you about yourself? You can't handle conversations on your own, that you're not enough without the subliminal? And if they're not coming back and you need a subliminal to make that happen, maybe that's worth sitting with, because that might point to something completely different. And across all of these, the weight loss, the money, the specific person, the healing, the pattern is the same. When something good happens, the subliminal takes the credit. When nothing happens, it's your fault. And you just keep pressing play. Every time you credit the subliminal instead of yourself, you're telling yourself that you cannot handle your own life and the consequences and the outcomes that come with it. And the belief that you need this audio or any audio to be worthy, to feel enough, to feel confident, that's what's actually ruining your life. Not the subliminal, the version of yourself it trains you to be. So the comment sections are not just a great boost of social proof. This is what they're actually really doing. So after all of this, the affirmations, the subliminals, the boosters, the flush, comments, if there's one thing that you're sitting with right now, I hope it is this question. Have you ever stopped, even once, to ask yourself, why do you need this so badly? Not which method works the best, but why? Why do you need to be taller? Why do you need that person back? Why do you need a different face? Everyone skipped straight to the fix. Nobody ever stopped and asked, what is driving this desperation? This is the deepest way this ruins you. You can spend years and years cycling through different methods and never once ask yourself the only question that matters. When my subliminal phase ended, looking back, I didn't just stop. I just found better looking versions. Self-help videos, productivity systems, books I'd highlight on but never act on. None of it looked like a subliminal, but they all did the same thing. I'm not making this video because I have solved that. I'm making it because I finally noticed how often I was still doing it. So tonight, someone is still going to put their headphones in, press play on any of these videos and fall asleep to it. And tomorrow morning, they will feel like something shifted. And that's exactly how it starts to ruin your life.